Good afternoon, everybody. It's that time of day. It's Think Tank Tuesday. That sounded kind of weird, didn't it? But anyway, apparently you're tuning in because the subject line attracted your attention. So here, let me just start off with this. And I'm reading my notes here because I want to make sure I hit everything on this because I think this is, well, I know it's critically important. So let me start off with saying there's no secret to growing your sales opportunities or your brand. I mean, there's really not. But a lot of times we think there's a secret. We think there's a silver bullet. We think that there's something more out there that we can find something to cheat the system, something that's going to make it easier. And I can tell you from living proof, from experience, from years of having our agency here, that there is no shortcuts. I can tell you that for absolute truth. But today, what I'm really going to talk about is what I deem as one of the 5 most important strategies, one of the most important marketing tools that you're probably missing. And I'm not talking about a marketing tool where you're going to have to spend money here, not much money at least. I'm talking about a marketing tool you're probably missing, a marketing tool that if you are using, you're not using on a consistent basis, or if you are using it on a consistent basis or somewhat of a consistent basis, you're probably using it absolutely wrong. And it's hurting your business. It's hurting your opportunities. And I don't mean that as a scare tactic. I mean that as complete honesty and what I'm talking about. But this video is for you. This video is about you. This video is how you can grow your sales opportunities. And you're probably saying, oh, I'm not a salesperson. But don't tune off the video yet because you don't have to be a salesperson because what I'm talking about here, it has a lot of different uses. It has a lot of different ways that it can grow your income. It has a lot of different ways that you can provide for your family in a much better way. And I mean this, if you're an individual that's looking for a new job, and by the way, if you're watching this and you know somebody that's looking for a job, I want you to share this video with them, or if you're seeing it after the fact, I want you to forward it to them, okay? So if you're looking for a job, this is something that's going to help you. If you own a company, own a business, and you're looking for more sales opportunities, in other words, more opportunities to talk to individuals to build your clients, then this can definitely help you. If you are a salesperson working for a company and your income is dependent, let me say that again. If your income is dependent on finding new sales opportunities, in other words, if you're a salesperson, if you're a real estate agent, an insurance agent, if you sell cars, if you sell suits, if you sell shoes, I mean, the list goes on regardless. So I hope I made that really clear about what I'm going to talk about. But again, I deem this as one of the top 5 most important marketing tools. And again, this video is not about me, it's about you. But I'm going to give you a really quick story. And I just kind of added this in, even though I have my notes here, but I think it's important. Oftentimes here at our offices at Potrats, we're an ad agency, but we have entrepreneurs that come in, we have business owners that come in, and they'll come in, they do trainings where we help them with branding, we help them with social media. And I'm asked the question oftentimes, they're like, how many people do you have on your sales staff, Paul? And when I give them the answer, they're like, oh my gosh, really? So here's the answer in case you're wondering. How many people do we have on our sales staff? 0. And we've tried to have salespeople over the years, but it never really worked out. It just was never really successful. And so you're kind of thinking, okay, great, but sales is what makes it go around. But so here it is, what I'm talking about. In other words, how do we generate sales opportunities? How do we, actually get new clients? And let me just show you. I think that's going to be the easiest way. So we're going to change screens here, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Our lifeline is really what I'm talking about here. So hopefully we don't have a technical difficulty on that. No, I don't. That's kind of weird. I don't see it yet.
It's on the screen now.
Okay, so hopefully you guys can see this. And if not, we'll have to fix it out. Oh, there it goes. Boom. There we go. All right, so what I'm showing you right now, and you're going, okay, great, Paul. It's a list of contacts and email addresses. So now I get it, Paul. You're talking about email marketing. No, I'm not really talking about email marketing. I'm talking about email marketing with purpose. So I want you to write that down. Email marketing with purpose. And granted, regardless of what what you do for a career, email marketing with purpose can help your success. So I want to draw your attention to where you see the arrow on the screen where it says below, it's right below advanced search, and this is a lifeline. You can see we're displaying basically 25 of over 281,000 total contacts. And here it is. We're an ad agency in Schenectady, New York. Spell that, okay? Just spell Schenectady if you can. But we're an ad agency, and we've tried to do salespeople, but there's one thing that I've realized by using salespeople, and it's salespeople often, and keep in mind, I've always been in sales, more or less, but salespeople often don't have the follow-up skills. They don't have the consistency. And not just salespeople. I'm not beating up on salespeople because I'd be beating up on myself here. But we don't have the consistency. You pop that up one more time, Mike? So what I'm showing you, this lifeline as a business owner, as a marketer, as a salesperson, you've always got to be growing your lifeline. So what are you doing to grow your lifeline? And what I mean by that, you can see that we've added individuals 5 hours ago, 19 hours ago, 3 days ago. We're constantly growing this database because I'm telling you from experience, and I hate to say this because what I'm really telling you could be counterproductive for what we do as an ad agency, but all of the different, search engine marketing, TV advertising, radio advertising, direct mail, and all that, I mean, depending on the size of your business, of course, we know that's a tremendous amount of money that you have to spend. And it's my belief that if you're always growing your lifeline, if you're always growing your database, like what I'm showing you right now, you can start to decrease the money you're spending on those sources. But the problem is, a lot of times we want that instant gratification, and if we were to sort, you could see that this list goes back for years, and we're constantly purging it and cleaning it and getting rid of bad email addresses or getting rid of email addresses that bounce, in other words, somebody changes jobs, the email doesn't work, we get rid of them. We get rid of email addresses if people aren't engaging with our emails, but this is a lifeline. So that's what I wanted to show you. 281,000 contacts. And why is that important? Because when you have email marketing with purpose, it can really grow your business regardless of what you're doing when I say business. So again, you could be a stay-at-home mom and you're saying, boy, I would really like to have a business on the side that, or you could be, adding to your income that you're saying, oh, I've got my day job, but in the evening I want to do something else. And if you start building a database, you can do it. So I'm going to tell you how to do it. And I'm going to give you the 50,000 foot view. So how do you do it? Well, the number one thing you do is decide what's your goal. What is your goal with doing email marketing? And I can tell so many times, I get so many emails, and I can tell that person, that individual, that company, that marketer, that agency, they don't understand what the goal is. They're just spraying and praying. And you can quote that, spraying and praying. They don't really understand what is the goal. And what I really mean by that is you can't always be selling. If you're always selling, then people aren't going to engage with you. They're going to tune you out. They're not going to pay attention to your emails. You're going to go into spam. There's so many things working against you in email marketing when you're doing this, if you're always selling, that you won't even get into their inbox. So that's the number one thing. Decide what your goal is. And I know that's kind of broad, but if you're engaging with us, then you can see that there's been a trend over the years. Number two, decide the look and feel. Decide the brand is what I'm really telling you. What is the look and the feel of the email? And again, I receive so many emails that I can see clearly that they never decided what the look and feel is. And it's okay to evolve your look and feel because you've definitely seen ours evolve over time. But why is it that we're evolving that look and feel? Well, because we're evolving it. We really call that the design, the UX design of it. How can we create a better email so an individual will, be able to see where they need to go? How does it look on their mobile phone? How does it look on the different browsers? So that's really important. You've got to decide what is your look and feel, what is your brand, you want to keep the consistency, and how does it show on all of the various browsers? How does it show on Chrome? How does it show on Firefox? How does it show on iOS? I mean, you keep on going. So there's a lot of browsers on there. It's basically, write this down, it's called the litmus test. So you can do that. Number three, decide the platform. And this is a really big one because so many times, and when I said you could do this strategy and not spend much money, but oftentimes we have a CRM also known as a customer relationship management tool. In other words, it's the database where we keep all of our contacts. In other words, here's Joe Smith or whatever and his contact information, and then we try to email through that platform. The problem with that is oftentimes a company that's a CRM, they are not set up for email marketing. So that email never really makes it into an inbox like as much as it could or much as it should, because you'll have other people that are using that same CRM, which is on the same server. And on that server, it allows you to email, and you've got other individuals that are spamming people. So that one server that you're on, think about it, that you live in an apartment building, you're being penalized everybody else like everybody else in that apartment building of servers. I hope that made sense. My analogies, it's just crazy. All right. So number 4, you've got to build your content calendar. And, the content calendar, what I mean by that is, what are you going to talk about? And does it actually have a purpose? Does it have a sequence? Is it like reading a book that you go to, chapter 1, you read chapter 1, you go to chapter 2, and now you start to understand more about that book. Is it a good book or is it a bad book? Or are you much more like all over the place and no one can get a really clear understanding of what is it that you do, what is it that you offer, or how will it benefit them? So think about that. In your content calendar that you're creating, that content you're going to push out, is it engaging? And you have to, when you're doing this, here's a critical part of it. You have to learn not to be selfish. And that's the biggest thing. If you're selfish in creating your content, in other words, go back to number 1 where you can't always be selling. So if you're selfish in creating your content, you're not going to grow your list, because that 281,000 contacts that I showed you, you're probably thinking, oh, wow, yeah, that's easy for Paul. Paul's, he's got that, like there's some magic potion. There's not. I started with 200 email addresses. So just keep that in your mind. 200 email addresses. And I'm not talking about a list that's bought. I'm talking about building a list that's created organically. And you can do it if you are not selfish in your content. So that's content calendar. Number 5. You've got to decide the frequency. That's the biggest thing. And there's always 2 extremes. I see individuals that basically abuse the frequency. In other words, they're emailing every single day, the same information essentially. And then you've got other individuals that say, well, I don't want to overdo it. And they try to email you maybe once a month or once every other month or once 6 weeks. In other words, there's no consistency, and both can hurt you. In other words, you're emailing too much, people opt out. You're not emailing enough, so people forget about you. And then when they do get that random email just because you had a few minutes free, then they opt out because they're like, I didn't sign up for this, so they're forgetful. So, that's just an example. That's 5 things. I don't want to give you a lot of stuff to work on right now, but if you start with those 5, this is going to help you tremendously. But you know what? I can go one step farther. Are you ready? There's a link in the description of this video. And let me tell you about a strategy call. So we've started doing strategy calls, and it's driving profits with email marketing. So this is an opportunity that what we're doing is we get on the phone together more or less. Well, not necessarily the phone. It's like a webinar, but you have the opportunity to ask your questions. You can ask me anything about email marketing. And it's on Tuesday, May 16th. So I'd love for you to sign up for that. There is a cost to it. It's not free, but the cost is minimal. And you can come with all of your questions. You can ask me about subject lines. You can ask me about email marketing platforms, because the one I showed you of where we have our contacts stored is not the one I'm telling you to use, but I can tell you about a number of different email marketing platforms. We can talk about using images. We can talk about using video. We can talk about, one of my favorites is subject lines. We can talk about what are the analytics, what are the things you need to measure. So Tuesday, May 16th, driving profits with email marketing. So share this video with a marketer, with a sales manager, with a salesperson. We're even going to talk about how you can start driving additional income. If you've got your full-time job and you're looking for something in the evening, I can show you how to do it with email marketing. I know it's an interesting thought, but there's a number of people that do it. So I hope this was a help. And again, I'm telling you, email marketing with purpose. And in fact, on Tuesday, it is Tuesday, right, Mike?
Yeah.
Tuesday. All right. I'm getting senile, guys. Let me tell you. On Tuesday, we're even going to talk about marketing automation. And if you've never heard the word marketing automation or inbound marketing, it's something that I want you to be completely aware of, because that's something that we've been using for years. So if you're probably wondering, what is marketing automation? I'll just kind of give you a real quick tidbit. Have you ever put anything into a shopping cart box or a shopping cart where you're on some website, you leave it, and then all of a sudden these emails start to come to remind you about that because they knew what the behavior was? Or have you ever been on a website and you looked at something specific on the website and then you started getting emails based on that product or that service? So that's what marketing automation is. Just a real quick, really example of what it is. There's a lot more to it. So share this video, mark your calendar, and start thinking about email marketing. Yeah, because email marketing's worked well for us. It can work extremely well for you too. And even when I was a sales guy, when I was selling radio advertising back in the day, where I was going and I was schlepping packages going, hey, buy this radio advertising package, more or less, I had an email marketing strategy that was in place. That's when people were still using Juno and Ask Jeeves and those type of emails. And if you remember that, boy, that was crazy. But I was using email marketing then, and I continued to use it, and it definitely helped grow my income. Because, I mean, true financial success is when you're able to generate sales or sales opportunities even when you sleep. That's this week's Think Tank Tuesday. Hope to see you on next Tuesday, and have a great week.